guess it all started because no one had made the game that we wanted to play. A game which really captured the spirit of the original movie, with an alien that was terrifying, massive, to make a game based not on action, but on horror and survival.
This had to be a horror game. We wanted to create an experience that was terrifying and claustrophobic, a game where you would spend the entire time worrying about where the alien is. Instead of the player cutting down hundreds of aliens, we have them focus on a single creature. And when you meet it, your first reaction should be to back away and just find somewhere to hide.
Getting the story right was really important to us. We kept coming back to the question, when the Nostromo went missing, who would go searching for it? And that led us to Amanda Ripley, and if she went looking, what would she find?
In Alien Isolation, the player is a normal person in an extraordinary situation. The player isn't equipped with incredible firepower or military hardware. They are isolated, they are vulnerable, and they're just trying to survive moment to moment with whatever they can find in the environment that will give them some kind of edge.
We've taken the majority of our cues from the original movie. This kind of lo-fi sci-fi has informed just about every aspect of the art, from the architecture to the character design, the materials we're using, visual effects, lighting, everything comes back to this 1970s view of the future. Everything in the game, all the technology, has this kind of mechanical push-button feel to it, and that's really important to us.
We really wanted to take the series back to its roots, for the players to confront the original Alien. We really wanted to make the Alien game that people have been waiting for. When audiences went to see Alien in theatres back in 1979, they were introduced to a new creature that was terrifying, unstoppable, and totally unique. We wanted to make a game that recaptured that original experience. We wanted to make the alien scary again.
Depending on how cautious players are, we've seen encounters in Alien Isolation last well over 30 minutes in some cases, and this just can't be done with scripted behaviour. As soon as the player can predict a pattern in the alien, it stops being scary. It doesn't follow any prescribed path or set of behaviours that are telling it to do specific things. It's just reacting to the player's presence and the choices that the player makes.
The alien really is hunting you. It is using active senses and moment-to-moment decision-making to hunt you down and kill you.
If you look back at the first film, it's mainly top body shots of the alien, the attack. Obviously we need to expand upon that and actually think about how he moves when he's slow, give that eerie, creepy feeling back to him, and when he's moving fast, be able to have that agility to get to you at any point and chase you down.
The alien's huge and the environments are all down to scale with the film sets, and we need to move him through that at full speed. We don't want you to see discrete animations. What we want is smooth, continuous movement. We want him to look alive.
This is an enemy that you need to avoid at all costs. An alien that is stalking you, that's intelligent, unpredictable, extremely dangerous. Even if you find a gun, your first thought is going to be, if I fire this, will the alien hear it? Alien Isolation is about encounters that are meaningful and terrifying, so that even when the alien isn't on screen, you'll be terrified by the thought that it'll be around the next corner. This is a game where you'll never feel safe.
wave, Sebastopol State, a serious situation. We have a situation we're trying to contain. We are in lockdown.
Ridley Scott's original Alien movie presented a really grounded view of the future. This wasn't holograms and touchscreens. It's chunky, analog, push-button technology. This is a world of CRT, not LCD.
Early in development, our artists studied the work of Ron Cobb, who was one of the original concept artists on the film. And the goal was that if we could understand his process, we would be able to expand on the universe while still remaining faithful to the original source.
This lo-fi sci-fi approach doesn't just inform the visuals, it also has a big effect on how we design the gameplay. If you take the motion tracker, for example, it's big and it's heavy, you can't hold it at the same time as a weapon, and all it does is tell you the movement of an object on a 2D plane, and even then, only on a small cone in front of you.
In order to stay faithful to the source, we set ourselves a rule: we wouldn't build anything that couldn't have been built on the original set in 1979.
I'm in.
Everything in our game conforms to this retro future aesthetic.
The first objective was to strip back the UI as much as possible. For the on-screen elements that we do have, we had to look at a lot of different options to try and recreate the softness and fuzziness that the technology of the 70s presented. The technique that we found most effective was actually to take gameplay footage and UI elements and record them onto VHS tape and play them back through an old portable television. And on its way, we would distort the cables and stamp on the tape and generally destroy equipment in the process. And once we got that back into the game, we found that it didn't just look authentic, it was authentic.
This is a game set in the future, but baked in the past. It's a place which we can really relate to. It's also a world in which technology won't save you. Sound is a massive component of any horror experience, and that's definitely the case with Alien.
We wanted to be as authentic as possible when it came to recreating the sound of the original music, and so we put together our own orchestra from the best musicians that we knew around London, including some who'd actually played on the original recordings with Jerry back in the 1970s.
One of the most exciting aspects of working on the sound for Alien Isolation was that we were given access to the original sound recordings from the first film.
5A, Section 8.
We were very lucky because we were able to find some very old recordings which showed the process by which the sound designers created a lot of those sounds, and we were able to recreate that process as accurately as we could.
We have this really unpredictable, clever, adaptive alien, and we needed to build a sound engine that could help support that. We couldn't just have a mix that was static. We needed a score that could change and that could adapt based on what the player's doing and based on what the alien was doing. If the player is hiding from the alien, the sound engine will know that and it'll adapt, it'll make it more tense. The idea is to drive an emotional reaction from the player.
In our game, sound is critical because when you're hiding in the dark, what you can hear might just be the key to your survival.
You know, what I think is so exciting about creating a game for people is you are able to put the spectator in this world.
It's an original It's like Frankenstein or Dracula, Wolfman. It's just nothing seemed like it before or after.
Somewhere in the middle, I remember having a conversation with Yaphet, and I said, we're doing a classic, you know. And he says, yeah, we sure are.
1984, is that when he was made?
35 years, it was 79. 1979, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You cannot walk away from a video game. There's no walking away. You're there. You're married into it.
In games, you do it from different perspectives. So, I mean, maybe I get to be a badass and survive. Who knows?
The idea of putting you in the movie, as it were, I think is they're not film directors, but they know what we all want, which is to be immersed in this world.
Should never have landed on this damn ball. Me and Parker, we told him that. Brett, over and out.
Jesus, you took your time. Shut off my side of the system. I'm a sitting duck here.
It's what you don't see that rings your imagination, and that's really, your imagination is much more terrifying.
It's not a really pleasant world for humans to be in, and it certainly becomes a lot more unpleasant when the alien is